had a wonderful visit. You all are dedicated to your students' care, and you're working every day to set them up for a lifetime of success and opportunity. And I couldn't agree more with your mantra, which I know is, when you nourish your seeds, you give them a chance to grow into a mighty tree. That same mindset is what brings me here today. Our children are our future, and the seeds we plant today will help them grow into the next generation of leaders. When it comes to child care, not enough of those seeds are being nurtured today in North Carolina. There are a couple of interlocking problems here. First, we do not have enough child care slots to meet the need of the state. Right now, we have only 1 child care slots for every 5 families that need one. Moms find out they're pregnant and immediately have to jump onto a wait list, hoping that a slot will open in time for when she goes back to work. And second, even if they find a slot for child care, they might not be able to afford it. The average cost of infant care in North Carolina is $12,000. That is more than the UNC tuition. Economists say that child care should cost only 7% of your family's income, but 4 in 5 families have to pay higher than that. And here's the catch. Even though it's expensive, child care providers cannot afford to pay thriving wages and provide benefits to their employees, mostly. The average child care worker is making $10.73 an hour. That's not enough to pay your bill and support your family. So in North Carolina, about 40% of child care workers are on some form of public assistance. Because of the low pay, we don't have enough people becoming child care workers. And so we don't have enough teachers to staff the classrooms, which means we don't have enough classrooms with slots for North Carolina's children. It's a vicious cycle we find ourselves in, and whether you have kids or not, this cycle harms every North Carolinian. Because when parents cannot find high-quality child care for their kid, or when they see that they're paying for that care would eat up their whole paycheck, too often they simply stay home when that's not what they want to do. And I want to be clear that parents who want to stay home with children should always have that choice. That is their choice to make. In fact, it's the choice that Anna made for our children for about a decade when they were young. And I will say that I'm pleased to be joined by my youngest child. Leah is here, and she is a child care worker herself in college. And so she said, "I'm coming with you, Dad." But this should be a choice. Parents shouldn't be pushed out of the workforce because they cannot afford to work. When we invest in child care, our entire society benefits. Parents get to keep working and keep building their careers. We don't see as many vacancies or help wanted signs on our small business doors. And most importantly, our kids get a safe, nurturing, and supportive environment where they can learn and thrive during their formative years, one that will shape their entire educational trajectory. So as Kate says, let's nurture our seeds and help them grow into the tallest of trees. Today, I'm here to announce a new task force on child care and early education. I'm honored that Lieutenant Governor Rachel Hunt and Senator Jim Bergen have agreed to co-chair this task force and prioritize this important issue. They will be joined by a group of child care providers, legislators, business leaders, parents, community partners, and industry experts to figure out how we can best support parents and our child care workers. These leaders are coming together across the aisle and across geographies. They're going to examine opportunities and policy solutions that will expand the supply of accessible, affordable, high-quality child care and early education. And they're going to give us some great ideas about ways we can help our youngest learners, our early educators, and our working families. I want to acknowledge the generations of leadership that early childhood education providers and advocates have brought to the issue, and I'm grateful that the business community is joining this fight as partners. In my budget, which will be announced later this month, I will propose a substantial investment to pay providers more, increase program quality, and raise child care subsidy rates, including in rural communities. We also want to add 1,000 new pre-K slots and offer summer programming for children who've completed NC pre-K before they start kindergarten. No investment has a better return than investing in our children. So to my task force, I urge you to appreciate the weight of your responsibility and use it to motivate you for the work ahead. Together, we can build a North Carolina that works even better for our kids and families, and that sets our next generation up for opportunity and success. Thank you, and I'll now invite forward Lieutenant Governor Hunt.
Good morning, everyone. I'm glad to be here with you today to talk about an issue that's hitting families across our state, the growing child care crisis. Let's be clear, we are in a crisis. For too many parents, the cost of child care is now higher than their rent. Families are forced into tough choices, and many are even going into debt just to afford child care. That's not right. To put it into perspective, our state loses over $5 billion annually in economic activity because of the challenges surrounding child care accessibility and affordability. And it's not just the economy that's suffering, it's our families. 32% of parents with young children are putting their careers or education on hold because they can't find affordable child care. And 60% of parents have had to miss work entirely due to child care issues. We know North Carolinians are hardworking, and we have incredible systems like our community colleges to prepare people for the jobs of today and tomorrow. But none of that matters if parents can't go to work with peace of mind, knowing their kids are being cared for and supported. We won't stay a top business state if we don't have a workforce that can show up to work. This crisis isn't just an economic issue, it's a family issue. I've seen it firsthand in my own family and talked to countless other parents who are facing the same struggle. It's a problem that's growing every day. So what do we do about it? That's why I launched my policy platform, Future Ready North Carolina, to help tackle this issue and make sure we're preparing our workforce for the future, one where parents don't have to choose between their jobs and their kids. To solve this crisis, we need to take action. We need to renew and expand the Tri-Share program so that more parents can afford quality child care. We also need to invest in our community college child care training programs so that we can grow our child care workforce and ensure there are more centers available for families across the state. There's a lot of work ahead, but we're ready for it. We're clear-eyed about the challenges we face, and we know that by working together, we can tackle this crisis head-on. Thank you, Governor Stein, for your leadership in signing this executive order. With your support and the efforts of everyone on this task force, we will make sure that North Carolinians, from the mountains to the coast, have access to affordable, quality child care. I'm excited to get to work and make North Carolina a better place to live, work, and raise a family. One where families can thrive without worrying about the cost of child care. Now, I'd like to hand it over to Secretary Lee Lilly.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lee Lilly. I'm the Secretary of Commerce for the state of North Carolina. Glad to be with you today. And I want to thank Kate and Kate's Corner for hosting us as well. I'm a dad. I've got a 3-year-old who is in a 5-star child care facility here in North Carolina, and she loves going to preschool every day. She's surrounded by nurturing teachers who help provide her an early childhood education, and she loves her friends. And making sure that she has that access was important to me and my family, but it's so much harder for so many families around North Carolina, and that's why it's so important that Governor Stein is establishing this task force on child care and early education. It's not just a social issue, as we've discussed, it's an economic issue, and North Carolina's Department of Commerce is focused on this issue now for several years. We actually have a child care business liaison, Samantha Cole, whose work is focused on engaging with all of the stakeholders from the business community to the child care provider community and beyond to get them to the table and come up with creative solutions for business owners and for the workforce to find affordable, accessible child care. We're grateful for what she does. We're more grateful for the work that the businesses do to invest in their own employees, because they know that investing in child care with their employees is a win-win-win. It makes sure that the employees have a safe place for their children to go every day. It makes sure that the kids have a great education, and it makes sure that the employers have a reliable workforce. So that's why this is such a winning investment for the economy in North Carolina. The Division of Health and Human Services and Invest Early NC, along with North Carolina Department of Commerce, have produced an empowering work report, and that report shows that over 31,000 working-age parents of young children were unable to participate in the workforce in 2023 due to lack of affordable and accessible child care. That's 31,000 people who wanted to work but couldn't because they couldn't afford or find child care for their young children. If those parents had been able to re-enter the workforce, they could have added $7.5 billion to North Carolina's gross domestic product. So this is an economic issue, and one that we know with further investment and further creativity, we can only further expand North Carolina's opportunity to be the #1 state for business. So I'm grateful to be a part of this. I'm grateful for Governor Stein's leadership on child care. And with that, I turn it back to Governor Stein.
Thank you, Secretary. And we're pleased to be joined also. Thank you, Secretary Lilly from the Department of Commerce. We also have Secretary Sangvi from the Department of Health and Human Services here. And at this point, I want to thank all the local folks who are here, who have helped invest in this institution. I want to thank our state senators and representatives who are here. It will take all of us to move this issue forward, and happy to take any questions if there are. Yeah, it will take investments, and we have to figure out the most effective way to gather the resources to do it. Clearly, the state has to be part of it, but the business community needs to be part of it as well, because there are costs to the economy, there are costs to them when they lose productive workers, workers who want to stay on the job but simply cannot afford it. And that's the charge of this task force, is to come up with solution ideas that we can share with the legislature, share with business leaders to move this issue forward, because it is one that we have to address.
When are you looking for the task force to make their report? Is this a year-long project?
We're asking for an interim report in June, but then a longer report at the end of the year.
What do you think they're going to, this has been a known issue for years now. What is this, how is this going to be different? Is it Lieutenant Governor Hunt, Senator Bergen, and maybe we'll see legislation, or is this part of a budget pitch? What's different now?
Yeah, well, we've known about this issue. We need to move it forward in an aggressive fashion. And the whole idea is to bring the actors who make those decisions around the table and agree with each other on what is the best path forward.
Can you talk about the TRI-SHARE program, some of these initiatives that you might be trying to invest in?
Yeah, I'll let Governor Hunt answer that question on TRI-SHARE.
Well, TRI-SHARE, obviously divides things three ways between the government, the business, and the parent. And we have seen great success with that. One of the only things that we have already have a pilot program for set up by the legislature in this state. And therefore, we feel like that's something that will appeal to legislators across both sides of the aisle. We know we all have to come together to make something happen. Otherwise, we're going to still be in this situation a year from now. So we're looking for solutions that everyone can get together on. We also know that businesses have now bought in, more so when the chamber came out and said this is really hurting businesses. So we are going to combine both sides of the aisle and businesses to make something actually happen in this space.
How do you keep the pilot program going?
Well, the legislature needs to put more money into it and expand it to other places. It's limited right now.
What message would you give to those parents who are at home, not able to go to work, about when they could anticipate getting back to work?
Yeah, child care and early childhood education is about the best investment we can make as a state. It works for the kids because they learn skills. We were just in there watching 2-year-olds starting to learn their alphabet. I mean, really very impressive stuff. It also works for the parents because it lets them have the peace of mind that their child's going to be well cared for while they go to work, and it becomes affordable. And of course, it works for the economy, for business, because it keeps productive folks on the job, helping to grow this economy. So we want the people, the parents of North Carolina, to know that we recognize this is an urgent issue. I'm creating this task force comprised of leaders of both parties so that we can identify solutions that we can all get behind to address this issue once and for all. Thank you all for being here.